So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another highlight interview. This interview is going to be a little bit different because we have a very special guest here in our group. So today we have Josh Gavin. Josh is the founder of Scaling with Offers. He's an agency owner. And what makes him more special is that he's already making multiple six figures at the age of 19. And he started when he was 14 years old. So he puts us most entrepreneurs kind of to shame when it comes to getting started, taking action. So how are you doing, man, today?
Dude, doing great. I appreciate you letting me be here today. It's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely, man. So this interview is gonna be, as I told you, in our Facebook group and in my YouTube channel. And we have had some videos reaching more than 200 views. Hopefully this hits 1,000.
Yeah.
So tell me more a little bit about yourself. I know you started when you were 14. I've been seeing your content and accomplishments all over YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So tell me how you got started.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, like you said, 14 years old, got into this space. At the time, of course, I had the idea of like, oh, let's make money online. But more importantly for me, it was like, I don't want to go to college. I know it sounds like the classic, motivation for all of us when we first get started, which is like, make a lot of money and then like, hope we get to live this crazy lifestyle or whatever. And so, I chased that, whatever. By the age of 16, I built my first 6-year agency. And once I got to that point though, I realized I needed a deeper motivation, a deeper inspiration to keep going, to keep growing on further. And so I really had to push myself deeper to figure out, okay, what do I want to be known for? What do I want to be good at? And like, who can I really help in a bigger vision? And so, starting at the age of 14, then it was all cool and like awesome, 14 to 16 to be making this money online. I started in like e-commerce, and then I moved to like an agency where I worked with e-commerce stores. And then I went to more so a local business agency. And so that was amazing. And it was awesome being able to scale to, 100K a year at the age of 16. But then past that, I really had to dig deep into like, what do I want to be good at? What do I want to be known for? And what do I want to achieve in the years going forward? So it all started then for those simple reasons that I'm sure everyone here, had when they first got started. But then it's just, slowly started shifting into a longer, legacy-focused vision and inspiration,
Sure. So obviously, man, I know you've reinvented yourself a lot. I know you were doing some prospecting, call messaging. Then you did something about funnels. I remember you had a funnel agency. Now you help people build offers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So can you walk me through a little bit about how your journey was, like when you started? What was your niche? What was your offer? And how has it evolved till now?
Yeah, so it's funny. I realized going back to when I started, when I was a local business agency, I was like from 14 to 16 years old around then. This is like 15 to 16 at that point. But back then, like I was just like a little kid, squeaky voice. And back then people always they would talk cold call. That was like the way to get clients, right? That was like the only way. That was the only thing people talked about. And there was 2 courses out there. It was Ty Lopez, Iman Gadzi, and they taught cold call. That was it. And so at the time though, all I had was a Kindle and a Chromebook. I didn't have a phone. I didn't get my first phone until I was like, I think I was 17 or so, I think I got, because like my parents, they just told me I had to like pay for it myself. And so I had a Kindle, I had a Chromebook, right? And so in my own agency, I scaled it to, a 6-figure income simply using cold messaging. And so the reason I came about that is like, okay, I obviously can't call these people, but what's a new way I can get a hold of them in the same way and get them on the phone with me? Hence why I started cold messaging on Facebook. And so back then, no one was really talking about it. No one was really teaching it. And so I switched and I started, teaching people how I did it. I had like a simple little, I think I was doing like a $47 offer, but I was teaching cold messaging to people. And so throughout these years, throughout then I was running my agency, I was teaching cold messaging, and that's what I was doing. And so I had my local business agency. But then after I had my local business agency, I then evolved my offer into a funnel agency because I realized, I don't like running ads. It's not really, or I don't like, local business. It's not really fun. I like writing copy. I want to do copy. I want to do design. It felt like an art to me. And so I launched my second agency, which was 2 Comma Club Copy. And it was an agency where we only worked with 7-figure earners. And we wrote their copy and built their funnels. And so throughout the years, of course, if you guys follow me, you'll see I have a lot of different like educational type offers I've had throughout the years, but I've always had an agency at the same time. And so I went from local business to a funnel agency, and then we went to done for you appointments and more of like a funnel agency with ads for agency owners. So over the years, it's always evolved, but I've always had an agency. And then through our educational offers, it's always aligned with that agency as well too. So I know it's kind of confusing, but hopefully that makes sense. That's kind of where it started.
So you had, if I mind asking, so you always had like a done for you agency for the B2B, and you had like you could say a B2C coaching, like for people, information.
Yeah. I always had an agency where I work with businesses, exactly. And then the last 3 years, I've always taught and worked with agency owners to some extent. Like 3 years ago, I was talking cold messaging, and then the big thing was profile funnels, and I've been doing a profile funnel for that. So I have profile funnel secrets, which you guys can go look up and see all the pirated courses out there on that. And then I started, now we're talking offers and our waiting list funnel, etc. So yeah, we've always had it hand in hand together. But I've always liked the agency. I wish I could fall in love with the info product thing and do that. It'd be much easier. But for some reason, I keep falling back into agency, and I just love it too much to give it up. So.
And how do you get started? Like, who was the person, whether it was a guru or a family member or friend, who got you into making money online, whether it was Shopify, ClickFunnels?
So, I think the biggest one I have to credit is definitely Iman Gadzhi. Of course, there's other like gurus on YouTube that like got me into e-commerce and Shopify, but from actual agency, and even still to this day, it's definitely been Iman Gadzhi. Like, I still watch all his videos, I have all his courses, like I still just binge that guy. So he's definitely like the OG mentor and inspiration for, what I do today.
And I know that at some point you were mentioned by, I think, Dan Henry in his course or one of his coaching programs, right?
Yeah. So Dan Henry is actually the first client I ever wrote copy for in 2 Combo Copies. So he's the first person I did his emails for his podcast, for some of his webinar sequences. And then I know that he had name dropped me a couple times in one of his copy programs. So yeah, he was kind of like my gateway into working with these big names because he was like the first person I had worked with.
How do you get, if I mind asking, if it's not too much, how do you get Dan Henry as a client? Because that's what we're talking about.
It was just cold messaging. I saw he was talking about needing he needed a copywriter. He was talking about his stories, and he was like, people reach out to me. All right, let me just reach out to him. And my intro to that message, because people always ask like what I sent, and it said penis, 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 fire emoji. And then it said, if you open this, it might mean you're gay. No, I'm just joking, man. I know it sounds pretty offensive, but he's a very, he's like that. I knew his humor. He's very polarizing. I'm not really like that, but got his attention. Let him know what I did, and I was his client. So hopefully I don't get canceled for that, but it was his humor. Yep. He knew it was a joke, and yeah, it worked.
So far, I'm releasing 2 trends here that are very important for whoever is watching this, whoever is gonna rewatch this again. You're not afraid of breaking rules.
Nope.
And you're not afraid of reinventing yourself, right? Because many agency owners get stuck in, they say, oh, this is my niche, this is my niche, this is my niche. They like niche slapped, and they can't get outside of that parameter. Like, this is my offer, I do Facebook ads for realtors, or I do Facebook ads. They are afraid of exploring maybe different options that could have worked better for them, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. It's funny because one of my biggest problems, hence why I talk offers now, is I get too many good ideas for offers or things I could deliver. And so that's why if you look back at my journey, I switch really, really fast, and it works really well, but I never give something enough time to really like ramp up because I always have like a new idea. And so one thing I realized is like your offer can change, but like your service doesn't really have to. Like you can have the same service, but you can reposition your offer in a different way. And so I even had to watch myself because I would, create so many different services and offers and would really just like hurt myself in the long run because I'd switch so much because I loved making offers. And so, yes, I think it's great to be able to move quick, to be able to reinvent yourself, your offer and your service, but there also can be a negative to that. Like for me, where it's like a new offer, a new service every 90 days, which is, it shouldn't work like that. That's where things get toxic.
Okay, so in hindsight, you recommend people not to diversify too much in the beginning, but to stick with one?
Yeah, I always say like, stick to one thing until you know it's not going to work, or until you know it's not working. And like what I mean by that is like, I will, like, let's say I join a coaching or course program, like I'll die hard do everything they say until like I'm losing money, or like I'm like, yeah, it's just not producing results. Like I will do everything they say, I'll put in the work, like I'll commit, I'll show up until either a new opportunity comes around that's like working better for us, or, you know, it just is losing us money. Like I just think like most people, they don't sit through the pain and the fire long enough. Because sometimes it's like the answers on the other side of like the corner or whatever, it's right around the corner, and you just need to go a couple steps further. But another thing I see people do is they like stay in a tough situation too long, and they're not being open-minded. Like you said, a lot of people are not open-minded enough. And so I think it's important to be like, you know, one niche, one offer, one service, but also as you're doing that, stay open-minded, where you're like, oh, like I could bring this to other industries, or I could, what about this, what about that? And just like, you know, don't just like, yeah, don't box yourself in. Just don't box yourself in. Don't, like, even like people listening to me here, like, yes, I have experience in this, we've helped a lot of people succeed, but don't only just listen to me, listen to other people, be creative, read books, watch videos, listen to podcasts, like, don't just die hard in one direction.
Yeah. So when it comes to your journey, how long did it take you to hit your first 10K month?
10K month? I have to look back on my Stripe here.
Yes, on average, you know, you don't have it specific.
So I mean, by the end, when I turned 16, so after I turned 16 in March, and that was, I'm 19 now, so it was like 3 years ago. I just finished off like my first 6-figure year. And so I was averaging around like 8K, like 83 to like 10K throughout then. So it'd be like ebbs and flows, but like back then, I don't have like an exact date, because back then the big thing was just like finishing the year at 100K was like your first 10K month. But yeah, so I don't know the exact date, but it was, I know from 15 to 16 that year. Once I finished that year at 16, I had my first 6-figure year.
So you've been around since like, say 2015, 2014, around that?
So I started my agency 14. How many years did that? Gosh, starting 2021. Yeah. So I mean, I've been doing this for 5 years now.
Gotcha. Yeah. So 2015 or so.
I feel old. But yeah. So it's been a fun journey though.
Oh no, you're not old, man. Like I feel old. I'm 24. Like, wow, I missed so many years that I should have been digging deep, you know, digging deep.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's what I hear from people. That's why I'm trying to keep my head down and build something amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And may I ask, what's your MRR or approximate revenue right now, like on average?
Yeah. So on average, right now we're anywhere from like 25K to 30K in our agency. And then we also have our info product as well too, which is anywhere from like 10 to 15,000. We took a big hit when we switched from our funnel agency to doing like done-for-you appointments for agency owners. But it was a hit I was willing to take, because right now our profit margins are way higher, and I enjoy what we do now. So at this rate though, where we're trying to go, and my whole thing is like with this agency is be at 100K months before I turn 20. So I want to take this to $1 million agency before I turn 20 in March. So we're on track for that. But again, it's funny how like we're able to help our clients make millions, and we're still pushing with our agency to do so. But we're working on that right now. So it's a fun journey, and this is definitely the agency where I want to do, like I actually enjoy what I'm doing, and I finally know like what I love and what I want to be known for. So I think that excites me even more, because I can make $0 next month and I feel like I'd still be happy with what I'm doing. Like I truly believe like, even if I did like $10,000, yeah, I'd be
really,
like,
that's important, man, because I know so many owners who make like huge numbers. They're like stressed all day. They're pulling their
hair. Or their clients aren't staying. Like you're not getting your clients' results. Like that's even worse. Like that's the thing that kills me the most. Like if your retention is super low, like it is, it's sad. You see a lot of agency owners scale really fast.
And it all comes down crashing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we've luckily we've been able to protect ourselves from that, which is honestly more valuable. Sure. So
yeah, so you're scaling at the pace that you should, and you're hedging risk, right? You're managing. That's
exactly.
So tell me a little more about how do you create winning offers for your agency, for your clients, Do you follow like Alex Hormozi model? Because I know you've been offering before the book came, so definitely you had the knowledge before the mainstream offers.
Yeah. So for creating offers, like the biggest thing is for me is really digging deep into like what do they want? Like asking the questions like, what does my industry want? What are they dealing with? I love the Alex Hormozi books that gave people a more practical way to think about that and really dig deeper. But at the end of the day, like my whole understanding with offers when I used to create them was like, how can I solve every single objection before they get on that sales call with me, so that when that objection does come up, I have a solution in our offer, so that that's no longer something they're worried about. And so there's different ways that we do this, and like that we ask ourselves simple questions to figure it out. But at the end of the day, it's really sitting down and asking your industry, what do you want? What are you doing right now? What's wrong with what you're doing right now? If in a perfect world, what would the right solution look like for you? And then figuring out with your current service or a service you can add to your business, how can you solve that problem for them and the problems that would come with that solution, right? So really like looking past like like for example, a big thing with our clients when they come in is they're like, oh, like I don't have a good offer. Like how do I create an offer? Like whatever. I'm like, cool. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna hop on a call with you one-on-one. I'm gonna create your whole offer for you, 100% done for you. I'm just gonna ask you some questions. You're gonna answer them. I'm gonna build your offer. And then they're like, okay, cool. We got an offer. That's awesome. But how do I actually put this offer out there to get appointments and to get leads? And I'm saying, cool. I'm gonna give you 3 appointment booking funnels. That you're gonna take that offer I just built for you. I'm gonna give you 3 done for you funnels. You're gonna go out there and get appointments, right? So I'm not just looking at solving one problem, but I'm trying to solve like each problem that's gonna come throughout the customer journey. So of course, if we have more time here, I can show you this kind of questions we walk our clients through. But at the end of the day, all I'm worried about is, okay, do the necessary research, figure out what your clients actually want, then figuring out like the creative way, depending on where your market's at and the fatigue of that market, to then position your offer in a way where it stands out. And at the end of the day, again, what do they want? And then of course you sell them what they need. And so that's like the speed run way of explaining how I look at it. But of course, there's like simple questions we walk our clients through to help create those offers, which I can run through here now if you want me to really fast.
Yeah. Tell me a little more.
Yeah. So questions I always like to go through our clients, an exercise we walk them through is, of course, we figure out what's their niche, what's the niche they're going after, pricing of their current service. So a lot of times clients coming to us already have like a service and a current pricing for it. And we figure that out. And then we look at what's the promise of that service. So a lot of the times, most people with the service, they don't really have like an outcome or a promise. And so we try to hone in on that right away. Like, what can they expect after working with you? What can you promise them, right? Like for us, our promise is in 30 days, you'll have a waiting list of 100 potential agency clients, right? That's our promise. That's the outcome. So throughout the niche, the pricing, the promise, those are the basic questions. And of course, like a risk remover, like what happens if they don't get that promise, right? That's like a money back guarantee, that's whatever. Those are the basic questions. The next thing you want to get into for your messaging of your offer, right? How to kind of create your messaging, your marketing for your offer, is going through and asking, what do they think the problem is? Like, what does your industry think, like, what do they think the problem is right now for why they aren't able to hit their goals, right? Like, because if you're talking with realtors or whatever, they obviously think that the problem is something that it really isn't. Like a lot of the times, the easiest way to gain trust in a niche and gain authority is to show your niche why what they think the problem isn't, right? And reveal the real problem and the solution for that, right? It's the old versus the new, right? And so what we want to look at is, what do they think the problem is, right? What do they think the correct solution is? Like a lot of these realtors, maybe they think it's cold calling or billboards or whatever it may be, right? They think the problem is they aren't doing enough, whatever marketing, like door-to-door marketing, or they aren't sending enough mailers or whatever. They think that's the problem, right? And they think the correct solution is to, get more billboards up, right? Send more mailers, hire these, whatever, do these things, right? And so we have that laid out. And then you really get clear on what have they done to try to solve that problem, right? Then we figure out what have they done, who have they hired, what does that look like? And then you want to list out what goes wrong when they try to solve that problem, sort of creating the pain points, the problems that they've gone through. And then we hone in on what's the real problem. A lot of times agency owners, You just go out and you're just like, Facebook ads. Yeah, we run Facebook ads. They're like, we get you leads and get you appointments. And they're always like, or you see all those agency owners in the ads, they're like, are you sick and tired of paying an agency owner who burns you? It's like, yo, you guys are just like, you are an agency owner. Like, you're not getting specific on why they got burned, what happened, like, right? And so the easiest way to gain trust in your offer is like, call it out, like get specific in your ad, in your copy, what makes what you do different, right? And so that's why we look at that. And so we figure out what's the real problem. Like, how can we explain to them what that real problem is, what they're missing, what you are seeing that they don't, and then what is the solution to that problem, and what can we do to solve it for them? And so when I walk our clients through these simple questions here, we hone in on, okay, what's our promise? What's our risk remover? And then the entire messaging for the offer, which you can run in your ads, your funnels, your cold messaging, your outreach, etc. You have all your market research done in the most important parts of it in just the simple questions. Because you have the old way that they're doing things, the pain points with it, what they've tried, and then you have your new way of doing things, which is your new opportunity, your new solution, which is super attractive to everybody. Because at the end of the day, we always want something new. These clients always want something new, and so that's a fast way to create it. So, of course, that's kind of like the speed run way of going through it. Hopefully, that gives some people some insight on it. But that's like the quickest way I can run someone through. And do you know Morgan's logo?
Yeah, Morgan's logo.
Yeah. So like, we did this with him yesterday, and we had a 30-minute call with his new offer, walking those questions. He launched his new offer today and closed a client for $1,000 on his new hour-long coaching call next day. So with those questions, you can easily launch a new offer in a matter of a day and get people to pay you. So, that's like the speed run way of doing that. Hopefully.
Yeah, and fun fact, like, he was talking to me about his new offer. Like, he was also trying
exactly.
to get. So I didn't know you guys were working together.
Yeah.
So you do very similar things. I mean, he does more fulfillment stuff.
Exactly.
Offer creation. So let me ask you something, because I wanted to ask you about appointment setting. Do you think when you were having your appointment setting agency, did you find out that the real issue to not getting enough appointments is that their offers were broken, and that's how you got started in the offer?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is, because I realized, like, a lot of times agency owners, I noticed a huge wave that started this last year of people running ads to get appointments, right?
Yeah.
And that was like the cool new way of doing it, right? That was like the new opportunity, running ads to get appointments. So everyone starts running ads. Everyone starts, cool, right? But the thing is, everyone starts running ads, but they're missing an important part, right? And so I was like, cool, ads are a great way to get appointments. That's awesome. And we started doing that for clients in our agency, and it was working great. But we started noticing a decrease in our results. And I realized the majority of the time when we were fixing that problem was more so revamping or revising our clients' offers. So I realized 80% of what I was doing for our clients was helping them create their offers, and 20% of it was actually like the ads, the funnel, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's what really like made it super clear to me that, like, oh yeah, like cold outreach, cold mass, like anything cold or paid, like it's not going to work unless you have an offer that's going to get someone to raise their hand or give you the time to pay, right? That's the only reason why people will respond, be excited, click on your ad, pay you on the sales call. Every step of the journey that your client in the sales process, it's the offer that's pushing them to that next step. So that's why now, like, I truly believe, like, your offer is everything, and like the agency with the best offer will be the agency with the most appointments and the most clients. Like, that is like what I believe truly.
Offer before appointments, before sales, right?
Yeah, because like you won't get you're not going to get appointments. You don't have a good offer. Like.
Yeah. So I've seen a big mistake that I've personally made, and I see a lot of agency owners make, is they get their offer from other marketers or from their white label. Their white label say, "Yeah, offer this."
Yes.
Or they see other people offering, so they offer the same. Is that a problem? Do you recommend against that?
Yeah, because I mean, if you go to like your white label agency, like they'll go and they'll give you a guarantee for like how many leads your clients can expect or whatever, right? Which is great, like that's fine. But your clients aren't going to be like, they're not going to get excited by like a cost per lead. They don't even know like what CPL or anything means really. Like they don't really care about that, right? Whereas like, that's why you need to go a mile further. Like, yes, you work with a white label agency, that's great, but what else can you put in your offer? What else can you include in your service that can actually make it something exciting? Because I see a lot of people come in like, yeah, I just hired a white label with a great service, a great offer. Like, what's your offer? And it's like, well, our white label can like guarantee leads at like 60, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is that it? Like, what kind of support are you giving your clients? Like, what else are you doing for them? And they don't have an answer to that. So at the end of the day, it's like, great. Yeah, like you see a lot of agencies working with white label people. That's great, super cool. But really take the time of day to see, okay, what are other people offering? Like, what else, where is the market at? Like, funnel hack other people, see where other people's offers are at, like maybe what you need to include in your offer. Because a lot of these agency owners are still promising leads when there's agencies out here like talking listings for like their real estate clients, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it just shows like the market's at a different stage at different times. So you really just have to be super clear. Where's your market at? What are they paying for right now? What do they want people to be promising them? And then what's the service you can include that's going to really help them get there?
Yeah, man. So definitely there have been a lot of golden nuggets for everyone who's watching. And before we wrap up this interview, what quick tips would you give agency owners who are starting or who are just getting traction but like not there yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like just input a lot. Like if I was, again, like you're not getting a lot of traction or whatever, like the biggest thing you could do is just keep surrounding yourself with the content and the information of people like in your industry, in your niche, and what they're saying, like what they're learning, what people are doing. Similar to like the concept of like modeling success, like that should be your biggest thing. Like go into an industry where there's other people in it because they're already paving the way for you, and like follow their footsteps and then work and try to be creative in your own ways to then make your own path, right? So like walk down the road that's already been paved for you. Don't overcomplicate yourself, but then also be expanding your mind and keeping your mind open enough to be like, hey, like what else can I do? Like, how can I, go an extra mile for my clients? Like, what else can I do that's really gonna help me stand out? But if you're struggling to get things up and going, model that success, set appointments, close appointments, and be willing to expand going forward. That's what I would do.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And thanks so much again for this interview. I know it was super late notice, but you've over-delivered, man. You've given us so many golden nuggets. I think everyone who's watching and who's going to rewatch this, because they should definitely rewatch this, is going to have a better picture of how to craft their offer for the agency and what to do if they're getting low appointments. Typically, low appointments is a sign of a bad offer, correct?
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah. And man, by the way, it was incredible learning more about your journey. It's real impressive, under 20 and so many things done. I feel like I wasted 5 years of my life. And again, I think it's better to surround yourself with people who are doing more than you. So it motivates you, right? To do more, to always push yourself.
100%, man. Yeah, totally true.
So that's it for today. We have, thanks a lot, man, again. And see you everybody next time.